Hi guys, happy Monday. Happy Monday. So, holy shit, I'm short today. I'm very short today. I don't know why. What is going on? There, maybe. Perfect. Alright, so, holy shit. The Jaws paper, all of it, I did a Patreon only blog this morning on my Jaws paper. So my patrons will completely understand and know where I'm coming from with this, with all the blessings that you get from the, paying karmic debt or paying off karmic debt of your ancestors in the afterlife. So it's so cool, and I'm so interested in how the Chinese traditions actually tie in with the Egyptian religion and traditions. So, focusing on the after-death body, which I think is amazing. Very amazing. And yes, I did put new gauges in. I'm finally... I think this is an inch. I know I can fit my entire thumb through it. I think they're an inch or a half inch now, but they just went in very easily. Very easily. The other ones were falling out, so boom. Wow. I've never seen my ears with holes that big, but anyways. A little weird looking. Very different. So, but yes, the Jaws paper and everything, oh my god, it's amazing. Completely different energy throughout this house and on this land. Kind of worried about the basement. I don't know if I should burn some Jaws paper down there, but I am going to go onto the land and I'm going to have a little ritual today and just freaking sorry. I am trying really hard not to swear anymore because there's a really sweet little girl on here. Well, a young woman. Not a little girl, a very sweet young woman. So thank you my Virgo queen for letting her watch one of the videos. So big shout out to you. I love you with just to no end. And your artwork, totally worth it. I would buy it. I want to see that artwork up in a museum one of these days. I think you are that special, that creative. And your paintings are. Your paintings are amazing. They are wonderful. You obviously have a little bit of your third eye opened, which I think is very neat. So, completely screwed up my arm. No idea what happened. No clue. It's very, very swollen. Raking. And now this is not the hand. This is the hand, so everybody knows. So, the right arm, not the left hand. Don't know why, but I am right-handed. So, but yeah, it's not what you guys think. So, alright, I found some really interesting stuff about the demon house. Quote, quote, demon house from good old Ghost Adventures. Pretty interesting. Very interesting information, and so I thought I'd just share that all with you guys today. I mean, it's really, really neat. So, basically, alright, so this was back in January 27th of 2014, and this strange events lead Indiana family to resort to exorcism. So, it's very odd. If these pop-ups. Why are these pop-ups? Ooh, our mayor, Pete Buttigieg, tells Pence that God made him gay. Of course he did. Mike Pence is a... Anyways, back to this article, because I thought it was pretty cool. So, child welfare. That warfare. What is that? Just what I need? Commercial? Yeah, anyways. Child welfare workers, police, and psychologists, Catholic priests, are still split on demonic claims, because I personally feel like they did. I believe that they believed that they were being haunted and possessed, but I don't believe it myself. I don't believe I could become possessed whatsoever. I think it's most of the people that become possessed, it's just a conditioning of your faith. So, and then like within, Satanism, people think that they, like demonic possession, and no, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that these certain people have ever been possessed. It's more like channeling. So, but that's not even possession. That's not even close to what possession is. Anyways. So, okay, police captain Charles Austin said it was the strangest story he had ever heard. It is. It's very strange. Alright, so there's a few story highlights, key points. The family first sought help from the strange occurrences in their rented home in 2012. The world was supposed to end in 2012. Never did. The world was supposed to end when I was littler. May 5th. I was little. I was like 5 years old, but I remember this stuff. Never happened. I waited. I literally waited outside all day on the porch or picnic table for the world to end. I don't know. I'm very odd, so whatever. It doesn't matter. So, yes, Austin, a 36-year-old veteran of the. I was going down the highlights. So, child welfare workers determined the family members suffered from delusions and removed the children from the home. Yeah. A local priest performed a minor exorcism. There's minor exorcisms? Like levels? That's what the false god would want you to think. A local priest performed, minor exorcism and several major exorcisms on the children and Latoya Amons. Amons? Very, very strange. I mean, I don't know what to honestly think about that. I do, but I'm not going to say it, so. Alright, Austin, a 36-year-old veteran of the area police department, said he initially thought the Indianapolis resident Latoya Amons and her family concocted an elaborate tale of demon possession and supernatural occurrences as a way to make money. And now if you go back and you watch Ghost Adventures of the Demon House, or is that what that's called? Ghost Adventures? I haven't watched it forever. Go back and watch that. And if you guys can, if you have it recorded, go backwards but slow. And just make sure you watch, when the main person of Ghost Adventures is asking people for stories. And they refuse. But then they turn around and they have a story once they get paid. Just go slowly backwards in certain areas that your gut tells you to. Pretty interesting stuff. Money always has a story. So, anyways. Alright. But after several visits to their home and interviews with witnesses, Austin said simply, "I am a believer." So, not everyone involved with the family was inclined to believe its incredible story, but whatever the cause of the creepy occurrences that befell the family, whether they were seized by a systematic delusion or demonic possession, it did lead to one of the most unusual cases ever handled by the Department of Child Services. I cannot imagine having a child and Child Services coming in and taking my child out of their comfort, their home. But maybe it was for the best. I don't know. So, that's very weird. Oh, wow, okay. So yeah, it was one of the most unusual cases ever handled by the Child Services. So, many of the events are detailed in nearly 800 pages of official records obtained by the Indianapolis Star and recounted in more than a dozen interviews with police, DCS personnel, psychologists, family members, and a Catholic priest. So, furthermore, the family story is made only more bizarre because it involves a DCS intervention. So, a string of psychological evaluations, a police investigation, and ultimately a series of exorcisms. There are so many natural reasons for ouch. Or not natural, but I mean there are, yeah, you can explain all of this. This can all be explained. Alright, so the first part of this, it started with flies. Alright, so who is the Lord of Flies? Beelzebub. Alright, so in November of 2011, Eamon's family moved into a rental house on California Street in Gary. A quiet lane lined with small one-story homes. Big black flies suddenly swarmed their screened-in porch in December, despite the winter chill. That's very common. Very common. Especially here in Indiana. Very common in Indiana. So, okay, so this is not normal. Eamon's mother, Rosa Campbell, remembered thinking, we killed them and killed them and killed them, but they kept coming back. So there were other strange happenings too. After midnight, Campbell and Ammons both said they occasionally heard the steady clump of footsteps climbing the basement stairs, and the creak of the door opening between the basement and the kitchen, and no one was there. So my house does that as well. Only my house is legitimately, we have legitimate ghosts, but it's nothing bad. Nothing like this. I mean, there could be a connection with the land and, you know, the alcoholism and the domestic screwing of the mind, the mentality. Alright, so, yeah, that's crazy. Alright, so after, yeah, I already read that too, guys. And nobody was there, so Campbell said she awoke one night and saw a shadowy figure of a man pacing her living room. She leaped out of bed to investigate and found large wet boot prints. And remember, this is Gary. This is Gary, Indiana. The break-ins, the gang activity, I mean, Gary is, I think it's still, maybe, the murder capital of the United States. So, we can only imagine what actually got in. So, let your mind wander. Alright, so, on March 10th of 2012, Campbell said the family's unease turned to fear. Alright, so right there, it turned to fear. Fed the delusion. Wildfire. Literally. Alright, it was about 2 a.m. Why are they up at 2 a.m.? Who stays up at 2 a.m.? Unless you're doing drugs. Maybe not, no, I'm joking. Totally joking about that. So, alright, normally Campbell, Ammons, and her children would have been asleep, but they were mourning the death of a loved one with a group of friends. Alright, so we have the death of a loved one, we have the mourning, we have all these emotions that are running just amok. Sadness, guilt, grief and guilt, and fear, right there. 3 things that lead to all of this. So, Ammons, who was in Campbell's bedroom, startled everyone by screaming, "Mama, Mama." So Campbell said that she ran into her bedroom, where her then 12-year-old granddaughter and a friend were staying. Ammons and Campbell said the 12-year-old was levitating above the bed, unconscious. So, according to their accounts of events, Ammons and several others surrounded the girl, praying. Eventually, Campbell said her granddaughter descended onto the bed. The girl woke up with no memory of what happened, Campbell said. Alright, so, levitation. Not sure. You can't explain it. So I could be wrong, or they could be lying. But that's just so strange for me to actually believe. I mean, I think it's possible. I know it's possible. But these stories are just so blown out of proportion. They're not truth. There's so much. I mean, if I wanted to literally and just get scared to death and freak out, I could have the Catholic priest come in here, do an exorcism on the house, or bless the house, exorcism on me, and I could actually self-delusion. I could literally think myself into becoming possessed, which I will never do. Alright. And if I do, it's going to be like somebody famous that I want to be possessed by. So, alright, now the family sought help. So Campbell and Ammons called local churches looking for help with what they believed was something supernatural. But most refused to listen. That's because it's very uncommon these days. We have to take into consideration schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, alter egos, depression, anything, PTSD triggers. Boom, there you go. It's crazy, but the mind can actually make you see and make you, yeah. Anyways, all right. Okay, eventually, after listening to Campbell and Ammons talk about the house and visiting it, officials at one church told them the Carolina Street house had spirits in it. So, they recommended the family clean the home with bleach and ammonia, then use oil to draw crosses on every door and window. Okay, so Campbell and Ammons also told the Star they reached out to 2 clairvoyants who said the family's home was besieged by more than 200 demons. Okay, and if these clairvoyants actually knew what a demon was... yeah, anyways. So, their explanation made no sense. Oh, made sense to Campbell and Ammons. Then say, because it messed with their Christian faith. So, alright. I honestly have had a giant turnaround in what I think is... there's good, there's evil, but there's also the middle. There's between, there's the gray area, there's the white area, there's the pink, blue, purple, green, orange, yellow. You have to consider all of that. Take everything into consideration for this. So, 200 demons. So, their explanation, yeah, whatever, I just read that. So, alright, the best thing you can do is move. Ammons remembers the clairvoyance telling her, but moving wasn't an option for the cash-strapped family. Instead, Ammons said she took a clairvoyant's advice and made an altar in the basement. Okay, so what kind of altar? If you're making an altar is a doorway to your... My altar is a doorway for my ancestors. My ancestors. All my spirits that I serve. Everything. So when you sit in front of an altar, and it's there for a long period of time, like this has been, obviously, because I've been on here for how many years, it builds up energy. So you have... she could have been just focusing on the negative. I'm praying the negative away, which is, in turn, getting more negative, instead of just kind of tipping the scale. Instead of negative, positive, she prayed on the negative to go away, which made the negative go up even further. And there's the good down here, all the way back down here. So she should have focused on good. What good was there? She still had a roof over her head. She wasn't starving. So it's just, that does make you wonder. It makes me wonder. Alright, so. Alright. Where'd I go? So she took the clairvoyance. I want to see the altar in the basement. So, also on a clairvoyant's advice, they burned sage and sulfur throughout the house. Alright, that's not bad, but that would also, the sulfur would stay. It would stick. So, they reported smelling sulfur, which they think is a sign of evil. How many times did they burn the sulfur? Did they burn it in a incense burner of sorts? Did they leave it in there? Because it will build up and that smell will stay and stick to everything, including clothing, hair, skin, nostrils. the microscopic little hairs in your nostrils, just like when you're... Yeah, never mind. So, alright, so sulfur throughout the house, and a person she was with read Psalm 91 aloud. Okay, so Ammon said nothing odd happened for 3 days. Then things got worse. So the family said demons possessed Ammon's and her children, then ages 7, 9, and 12. The kids' eyes bulged, evil smiles crossed their faces, and their voices deepened every time it happened. Campbell and Ammon said. Alright, so 7, 9, and 12. We have, let's see, 12. Yeah, we're getting into the teens. Almost. Puberty. All this stuff happening. Hormones, pheromones, all of that. All of that going on. So, where did I go? And when children hear stuff like this, it gets embedded into their mind, so they get kind of conditioned to it. Very, very, very psychological. So I suggest anybody that disagrees, go take a course, a college course in psychology. Psych 101 will tell you. Alright. Where'd I go? Okay. Campbell said the demons didn't affect her because she was born with protection from evil. Was she? I don't think so. I don't think so. She said she and others like her have a guardian who protects them, and we all have one. So she is nothing special from her children. So, Ammon said that she felt weak, lightheaded, and warm when she was possessed. Okay, I thought she couldn't get possessed because she was born. So right there, it's getting weird. Alright, so when she was possessed, her body shook, and she said she felt out of control. Quote, "You can't tell it's different. Something supernatural," unquote. Very different. Well, you can tell it's different, she said. So finally, in desperation, they went to their family physician. On April 19th, 2012, Ammon said that she told him what they were going through, hoping he might understand. He told the Star it was bizarre. 20 years, and I have never heard anything like that in my life, he said. I was scared myself when I walked into the room. In his medical notes about the visit, he wrote, delusions of a ghost in home and hallucinations. When Ammons and Campbell say... what Ammons and Campbell say happened next also was detailed in a DCS report of a family case manager's interview with medical staff. So now we have the chaos corrupts. Campbell said Ammon's son cursed the doctor in demonic voices, raging at him. Medical staff said the youngest boy was lifted and thrown up into the wall with nobody touching him, unquote, according to a DCS report. The boys abruptly passed out and wouldn't come to. Campbell added, she cradled one of the boys in her arms. Ammons held the other. So you're a child, and you hear this going on. You hear your mom and other people talking about this. What do you do when you go to the doctor and you're questioned? What do you do? What do you do when you're questioned by authorities? You go along with exactly what your parents are saying. Alright, so chaos erupts. So Campbell said Ammon's son... Oh, I already read that. So, someone from the doctor's office called 911. Blank said 7 or 8 police officers and multiple ambulances showed up. Everybody was... ... They couldn't figure out exactly what was happening, he recalled. Meanwhile, someone called DCS. Probably the best thing ever. And it's, what's funny is how to easily kill 98% of all odor and mold in your home is right next to this article. Synchronicity? I don't think so. Alright, so. Okay, meanwhile, someone called the DCS and asked the agency to investigate Ammons for possible child abuse or neglect. The caller, who is not named in the DCS report, believed the children were performing for Ammons, and she was encouraging their behavior. Her fear is what they felt, and acted on that, and yeah, basically. So DCS family member case manager Valerie Washington was asked to handle the initial investigation. She interviewed the family in the hospital. So while she spoke with Ammons, the 7-year-old boy started growling with his teeth showing. His eyes rolled back into his head. Okay, and now when we're 7 and that young, we can do that stuff. Our bodies are flexible enough to do crazy and odd things. So, alright. Okay, so the boy locked his hands around his older brother's throat and refused to let go until adults pried his hands open. It sounds like a case of hysteria. Later that evening, Washington registered nurse Willie Lee Walker brought the 2 boys into a small exam room for an interview. Campbell joined them. The 7-year-old stared into his brother's eyes and began to growl again. A sibling rivalry, perhaps? I would think so. Me and my cousin, who was like a brother to me, we grew up together. I mean, yeah. Alright, so. Okay, it's time to die, the boy said in a deep, unnatural voice. I will kill you. When the youngest boy spoke, the older brother started headbutting Campbell in the stomach. Okay, that is typical brother. That's typical. That's very typical. Campbell grabbed her grandson's hands and started praying. What happened next would rattle the witness, and to some it would only not offer evidence, but proof of paranormal activity. So I don't know how much proof that is, but that's very different. We don't have proof. I mean, proof is what we believe. So it's all in our faith. And obviously they had a lot of faith in demons. Ow. God, I think I just broke a tooth. That fucking sucks. No, I didn't. So. Ouch. Alright. Fuck. No, I didn't break a tooth. Thought I did. Alright, so according to Washington's original DCS report, an account corroborated by Walker, the nurse, the 9-year-old had a weird grin and walked backward up a wall to the ceiling. He then flipped over Campbell, landing on his feet. He never let go of his grandmother's hands. So, what we know, try that at home with your kid. If you have a kid and they want to play, try that. He was holding his grandmother's hands, walking up the wall backwards. Me and my dad used to do that stuff for me. Let me walk on the ceiling by just holding me up. So yeah. Alright. Where'd I go? So he walked up the wall, flipped over her, and stood there. Walker told the Star. There's no way he could have done that. But there is. He was 9 years old. How much did he weigh? How much pressure was the grandmother putting on his hands? Alright, so Walker, who said he previously believed in demons and spirits. There we go. Previous beliefs. Conditioning. I thought the boy's behavior had some demonic spirit to it, unquote. But it was also the result of a mental illness. There we go. Very interesting. So, the next day, DCS took the emergency step of taking custody of the children without a court order. Alright, so there had to have been a very good explanation behind that. Not just that little boy walking up the wall. I mean, come on. There had to have been another, crazy reason. Because the DCS does not just come in and take your kids for no reason. Like, they don't. So, Ammons told the Star she and her children cried because they didn't want to be separated. So, alright, here comes the more fear, anger, frustration, because the child was taken out of the home from the mother for obvious protection. Okay, so, we already had been through so much and fought so hard for our lives, she recalled. It was obvious we were a team. A team. And we were beating it. Whatever we were fighting, we made it through together as a team, and they separated us. Wonder what happened. I wonder. It doesn't tell you how the kids were in the DCS. So, who knows? But all right. So the request for an exorcism. Okay, the Reverend Michael Maginot was leading Bible study in his living room the morning of April 20th, 2012, when he received a call from a hospital chaplain. So, Maginot had been the priest at St. Stephen Martyr Parish in Maryville, Indiana, for more than 10 years, but had never received a request like this one. So the chaplain asked him to perform an exorcism on Ammons' 9-year-old son. So that's obviously, very scary for a child. It's very scary for a child. So, Maginot agreed to interview the family after Sunday Mass a few days later. So the first step, Maginot said, was ruling out natural causes for what Ammons and her family said they were experiencing. And I love it that my dad is a general contractor, a plumber, an electrician, all that put together, because he knows what asbestos does to you, what black mold does to you, how it makes you hallucinate, carbon monoxide, all of that. So, literally, me and him sat together while that episode aired, and we tore it apart. We literally tore that entire episode apart. It's jotted down on paper. He has it. He won't give it to me, which I think is great. So, alright. So they were trying to rule out any natural phenomena. So, okay, he visited Ammons and Campbell in the Carolina Street home April 22nd of 2012 for 2 hours. Ammons and Campbell detailed the phenomena for him. Then Campbell interrupted the interview to point out a flickering bathroom light. My lights flicker all the time, it's called. Heat turning on. Washer and dryer going. That light just flickered. So, the flickering stopped each time Maginot walked over to investigate, which he attributed to a demonic presence. Well, of course, because he's a Catholic priest, or whatever, they're going to want to pull you in, make you fear, so you follow their ways. Any church. So, it must be scared of me, he later told the Star he had thought. After a 4-hour interview, Maginot said he was convinced the family was being tormented by demons. He said he also believed that there were ghosts in the house. Alright, so that just gives room for more fear, more paranoia, all of it gathering and just building up in the home itself. And that altar, what's up with the altar? Why did she have to build an altar? To appease whatever was in the house? Very interesting stuff. Very interesting. Okay. So, less than a week later, Washington, the DCS family case manager, arrived to check the condition of the home. Washington asked a Lake County police officer to come with her. So 2 other officers, one each from Gary and Hammond police departments, asked to join them out of professional curiosity. Austin, the Gary police captain, later told the Star he believed in ghosts and the supernatural, but he didn't believe in demons. Alright, so we have belief still inherent. Alright, so Austin said he changed his mind after visiting the Carolina Street house. Austin said photos he snapped with his iPhone also seemed to have strange silhouettes in them. The radio in his police-issued Ford malfunctioned on the way home. Later, Austin said the garage at the Gary home refused to open, even though the power was on everywhere else. Logical explanations. Alright. Okay, Austin said the driver's seat in his personal 2005 Infiniti? Yeah, Infiniti also started moving back and forward on its own. Austin said that he found himself starting to believe Ammon's claims of paranormal activity, but the mental health professionals evaluating Ammon's and her children remain skeptical, which you should. Ouch. Very skeptical. I would be. So, here we go with, wow, this. Mom kids deemed delusional. Truth. Sad. So, in April of 2012, DCS successfully petitioned Lake Juvenile Court for temporary wardship of the 3 children. This is why you just don't put your children in this kind of situation. DCS temporarily housed the 2 other children at St. Joseph's home in East Chicago. Annam's youngest son was sent to the Christian Haven in Wheatfield for a psychiatric evaluation. Clinical psychologist Stacy Wright said the boy tended to act possessed when he was challenged. So, redirected or asked questions he didn't want to answer. In her evaluation, Wright wrote that he seemed coherent and logical, except when he talked about demons. So, Wright believed the 8-year-old did not suffer from a true psychotic disorder. So, quote, "This appears to be an unfortunate and sad case of a child who has been induced into a delusional system perpetuated by his mother and potentially reinforced," unquote. By other relatives, she wrote in her psychological evaluation. It's very true, too. So, clinical psychologist Joel Schwartz, who evaluated Ammon's daughter and older son, came to a similar conclusion. So, police and DCS officials continue to investigate strange happenings in the house. So Campbell, Ammons, Austin, and the 2 other police officers from the initial first visit went back to the home after work hours on May 10th, 2012. They were joined by Maginot, the priest, 2 Lake County officers with a police dog, wow, and DCS family case manager Samantha Lick. Okay. A country officer took his police dog around the home, but the dog didn't show interest in any particular area, according to Lake County police reports. Everyone else headed into the basement. So Lick touched some strange liquid she saw dripping in the basement and said it felt slippery yet sticky between her fingers. So Maginot blessed some salt, blah blah blah, where to go, which he said is a barrier to evil, and spread it under the stairs and throughout the basement. On the main floor, officers noticed an oil-like substance dripping from Venetian blinds in a bedroom, but couldn't figure out where it was coming from. Police records state to make sure Campbell or Ammons hadn't poured oil in the blinds, 2 of the officers used paper towels to clean it off. The officers sealed the room for 25 minutes and stood nearby so no one could walk in. When they went back in, the oil had reappeared according to police records. So Maginot wrote a report detailing his findings and asked Bishop Dale Malzak's permission to perform an exorcism on Ammons. So a series of exorcisms. This is crazy. It really is. So Maginot said Malzak had never authorized an exorcism in 21 years as bishop of the Diocese of Gary. Malzak initially denied Maginot's request to do a church-sanctioned exorcism. Maginot said the bishop told Maginot to contact the other priests who have performed exorcisms. So Maginot said that he needed other priests to give him the ritual for a minor exorcism, which does not require church approval. The priests he consulted told him to look it up on the internet. Okay, now it's getting a little comical and a lot more fishy. The fish is very smelly in this one. Alright. He said he did an intense house blessing on Carolina Street, home to expel bad spirits. That same day, Maginot performed a minor exorcism on the Ammons. The ritual consisted of prayers, statements, and appeals to cast out demons. 2 other police officers and Lick, the DCS family case manager, attended the ritual. Lick said she left believing that something was going on. Although she wouldn't go as far as saying it was demonic, she said she got chills during the nearly 2-hour rite. 2 hours? I have better things to do with my time. Wow. That seriously is odd. So, whatever. Alright, quote, "We felt like someone was in the room with you." We felt like, something breathing down your neck, unquote. So after the minor rite, Maginot said Bishop Melzak gave him permission to exorcise Ammons. The ritual is the same as the minor exorcism, but more powerful because it has the backing of the Catholic Church, Maginot said. Maginot ultimately performed 3 major exorcisms on Ammons, 2 in English, and the last one in Latin. In June 2012, at his Maryville church, at his Maryville church. So, in the final exorcism, at the end of June 2012, Maginot said he prayed and berated the demons in Latin rather than English. It would be the last time Ammons saw Maginot. She and her mother drove back to Indianapolis, where they say they live now, without fear. Ammons' old home on Carolina Street became an object of local curiosity, so much that the owner and landlord, Charles Reed, called the Gary Police Department to ask officers to stop driving by the house because it was scaring his new tenant. So, he said there were no problems in the home before or after Ammons and her family lived there. Quote, I thought I heard it all, said Reed, who's been a landlord for 33 years. Wow, it's a long time. This was a new one to me. My belief system had a hard time jumping over that bridge. Yeah. So, Ammons regained custody of her 3 children in November of 2012, and the DCS closed the case late February. So the children said they felt safe after they left the house on Carolina Street. The family said the three left their demonic voices and complaints behind them. So, quote, the family is no longer fixated solely on religion to explain or cope with the children's behavior issues, unquote, the doctor said, and her supervisor wrote in a request for a dismissal of wardship dated January 24th, 2013. For her part, Ammons said it was not the psychologists who resolved her problem, but God. So, quote, when you hear something like this, she said, don't assume it's not real, because I've lived it. I know it's real. Wow. That's interesting. That's very interesting, to say the least. I believe she believes something like that happened, but I don't know if I could actually... I couldn't. So, there we go. That is it. Let's save this image. So yeah, very crazy, very crazy. I don't know. People are just very odd, very odd. Okay, so let's do a little bit of coffee talk. Tiny bit. Hi guys, hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? Alright. Lady Witch, hi. How are you? I swear the face snagged my last pack of Joss paper, lol. I got some that had a lovely scent when burned, and poof, it disappeared from the altar. I always offer it to my ancestors. Oh wow, I didn't know so many people used it. I love it. I think it's incredible. It really is. I mean, I'm gonna go outside today and spend my day outside doing some spiritual work myself. I love it. Yeah, the Fae folk. Yeah. Ever since we cleaned, the entire yard and did all that yard work this weekend. Exhausted and sore. Alright, so. Okay. DJ Scar17 Willows. Hi. Aw. How are you? Enter that. You are so good. You are so talented. Oh my god, I just want to go shopping with you. We can bake, we can do crafts, and we can, oh my god. We would have so much fun. So much fun. Alright, anyways. Hello. Oh, I love the little alien. You're so sweet. Right, and this is Chocolate Sunday's oldest daughter. Oh, you're a darling. I love you. I came on here to see what happened to you guys both a long time ago, and it's really tragic. It's very odd. Past lives. And no one can do that to you guys now, haha, because it's 2019. And if they did, they would pay for it dearly. Yes, they definitely would. Aw, you are such a sweetheart. I love you to death. Aw. Now I really feel bad for smoking. You are so sweet. I love you to death. Aww. Okay. Jody Sims. Hi, love. How are you? Alright, you are welcome, Sugar Plum. You are such a loving and kind soul. I really honestly try. I try my hardest every freaking day. It's hard. You deserve everything and so much more. It's really hard to convince a Virgo that, yeah, you know. Alright, this was an awesome video. Sending wishes of peace, love, unlimited prosperity, and healing to you now and for all eternity. Thank you for another great video. I love you to death. And yes, I love our conversations. My Djinn will grant all of your wishes. Alright. Lily Moon, hi. How are you? Hi, sweetheart. Things are so here. I was just curious, what is the backstory of the Baphomet? Oh, and how long has the Baphomet been around? Baphomet, I think 1818, 1800s, around there. Eliphas Levi, he came up with the androgynous symbol. It represents Baphomet is nothing and everything. The all, source, God, goddess. It's an umbrella. So, we have the animal kingdom and the human. We have the divinity. We have everything, all the elements, everything in one. So, that is basically Baphomet. The Knights Templars were accused of worshipping a demon, half man, half goat being. But we really don't have much proof on the Knights Templars' worship of Baphomet. Baphometus is some of it. Basically, Baphomet means baptized wisdom, knowledge. So it's all about knowledge, applying that knowledge, willpower. So yeah, I don't really want to rag on Satanists anymore, but the Church of, or not the Church of Satan, the Satanic Temple, and other just off, the wall sects and groups have, distorted the image of Baphomet with the upside down pentagram on his forehead, which it should be upside right. This represents, the great work. And with the upside down one, it's just a perversion and a mockery of everything that, the great work of ceremonial magic and Solomon and all of the ancient and wonderful philosophers, John Dee, Eliphas Levi. Yeah, so he drew the very first image of Baphomet. So, love Baphomet. Amazing. So, I would like to add my birthday is April 19th. Oh, my Gannies is April 27th. Sad month. I just want to let you know I love everything you do, everything you've done. I appreciate you with all my heart. I hope one day we meet. Do meet. Much love to you all. Aww. I think that would be amazing. That would be incredible. One of these days, yes. Yes. Alright, Netheria Fade. Hi. Give me 1 minute. Somebody's here. And they're bitching and I'm pissed. Well, satisfy shoutouts. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be a fight. It's fucking my mom's side of the family. My grandpa is dementia. He is dying. Literally. And they come here to bitch. So, I gotta go, guys. I love you all very much. I have literally got to go call my father and tell him to get here. So, all my love from Venus. I can't just stretch this arm all the way down. And I love you all, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Definitely tomorrow.